All right, now we want to make sure that everybody can hear us. You can see us. You can hear us clear and good. You guys, okay. All praises. All praises to the Most High God this evening. Welcome to the Remnant. You guys are blessed to be in our presence today. Blessed, as we are blessed to be in the Most High's presence every single day. So yeah, the men, forced us to do this every once a month thing, you guys. So no, we wasn't forced. We love it. We love talking. What you guys don't know is that for everybody who's here in Washington, we're blessed to be able to have these sit down round table talks every Saturday is when everybody is free. And we love it. We iron sharpen iron. We just go and we sit and talk like the men do. You guys know how you guys do it when we have conferences and you guys get together. We do the same thing, right? And we just sit and we listen and we share, we compare, and we compare, the blessings of the Most High. And and we love to do that. So today we're gonna bless you guys with a little, we call it a little round table talk. And you'll be able to hear from all the ladies. I'm sad because I forgot my phone, you guys. For those of you who are online, if you sent me something, I'm sorry. You guys did give us a lot of topics to talk about it, but when you get back to it, like Naya said, virtue is basically what it boils down to, right? Virtue, everything that you could think about, from insecurities to patience to, how you're operating in your daily life under this submission and obedience. It comes to that, and so we're gonna go. I don't know if anybody had anything anybody wanted to go first, but we just gonna talk. What I wanted to do is I really wanted to involve you guys, and I wanted to go from there instead of us just speaking unless somebody had a topic they wanted to cover. I wanted to go based off of the ladies like we do in class and see like what are some of the questions that you guys have from remnant women. It might be specific. It could be relationships. It could be how you handle, certain things in your daily life. Like we talked about, one of our remnant ladies who's not here, but we are very involved because we have a women's chat, and they were saying, they dealt with insecurity. We can talk about that. To me, a lot of things when it comes to insecurities, not having patience and all those things is your lack of your will for the Most High to do his will. We were talking about this earlier, and me and my husband was talking about this, and I think this is very vital. It's something, the Holy Ghost gave me something the other day, and it was, are you a victim or are you a victor? And I thought that was powerful. He had woke me up out of my sleep to go write this down because I haven't written anything down in a long time. Usually we have our phones. My daughter was asleep. I couldn't really operate the way I wanted to. But just looking up what a victim means. What is a victim? And how does a victim operate? It's literally what the indoctrination and assimilation has taught us all these years, right? To operate as a victim, right? Everything that's done, everything that's said, we allow it to make us catch feelings, emotions, and we literally operate like that. We operate in despair. We operate in self-hate. And I think it's something very powerful that he gave me as I was writing, because he literally said that the enemy, Satan, the God of this world, who has taught us assimilation, has literally taught us to take vengeance on ourselves. And I was like, dang, Lord, it ain't really even got to do with nobody else, but the indoctrination will teach you that it does, because the indoctrination teaches you to point the finger at everybody else and not look at yourself, right? It literally teaches you self-denial. That's why, as one thing, one of the pastors used to tell my husband was, you want to take a look at how did it go? You want to look at the enemy or something? Take your worst enemy. It will shake hands with your worst enemy, yourself, right? Because with this relief doctrine, it teaches you literally how to look at yourself, and we work on we call it the inside out job. We work on the inside, right? And when you work on the inside, those things that the indoctrination teaches you to carry, when you carry them falsely on the outside, right? Because that's that victim mentality. And I just thought that was powerful how he said, the enemy teaches us how to take vengeance on ourselves. Like literally teaches you how to fight yourself, right? Um, and because I forgot my phone and I can't verbatim go back and forth, it don't matter to me because I live it. So I wanted to share something. And so me and my husband was talking, and we were talking about, where a person gets to when they know when they take the Most High's will out of something. It's like somebody can say, there might be some things that you will give to the Most High in your life, but then there's things that you want to keep. And a lot of people don't know what that looks like. And that's why I'm so happy that we have the conversation with you, because sometimes you can go to church and they're preaching a good, really telling you how to do that thing. So when you leave church, you're like messed up because you like, well, dang, I heard that word, but how really do I do it? They didn't really tell me how do I do this, and what does that thing look like when I am operating like that. And so we were talking about something, and we were saying that I was telling him that even where I am right now, there were things that I professed out of my mouth in the past that caught up to my future. And I didn't even know that, right? It just shows you how slick the enemy is, that he plays that long game, right? That he plays for the long yard. He know how to input stuff and bring it back to your mind to where you didn't forget that thing because you said it out your mouth. You profess that thing, so when it comes back around to you, you fall, right? And you don't even know how you got there, because you could be flourishing in every single area of your life, but then something else comes and it trips you up, and everything else you've been trumping is way bigger than that, and that's little. But it's the little foxes that spoil the vine. And so something had came up, and I was like, God dang, how did I get here? Like, how did I get here, Holy Ghost? He took me back. I said, I professed that thing out my mouth. And I thought that it was something good because I put something good along with it. But what I didn't do, and what I should have done, is said, it's the Most High's will, not mine. You could be given a choice. And in that choice, you still need to be saying, it's the Most High's will, not mine, right? Because if you don't, what you're going to do is you're going to go back to everything that you gave to what you told the Most High you wasn't going to let him have, and the enemy going to bring it back up. What did we say in class? What he do? Make sure he tell the Most High real fast what you didn't do, right? Oh, yeah, you see, yeah, she over here, but look at this thing that she didn't do, right? To make you look like a little person, to make you look like you're not failing, to make you look like you did not give something to him and you didn't. Then you have to take accountability for the thing that you didn't let go. And what it does is it makes you look at yourself and make you never, ever, ever, ever want to profess something that you're not going to give the Most High. It's his will. It's his will, period. My will is his will is mine. But if you're not operating like that, it could be something as simple as, yeah, I will never allow myself to do this thing. And I'm going to think of a good example in a minute. I'm never going to allow myself to do that thing. Oh, I would never do that. Oh, if my husband, and let's just put it out like this, because this has been a hot topic.
Bring on the hot topic.
Yeah, let's bring on the hot topic, because I know y'all like hot topics. And since me, Naya, and my husband is a hot topic right now, let's just say like this. If I ever said, Oh, yeah, I know, in our culture that my husband can have more than one wife, but I don't agree to that. Oh, yeah, you're going to have a problem. Oh, yeah, you're going to have a problem, right? Oh, yeah, he can have another wife, but not around me. Oh, you done created another problem. Oh, he can have another wife, but in all the buts is out there. Well, those are all the buts that didn't stop you when it came. It stopped you the moment you said it out your mouth, right? And even though you were not aware of that, let's just say, I know in the Muslim nation, they can have more than one wife. And when they're going through their courting process, the woman or the man, they can decide in that courting process, she can say whether or not that's something she gonna deal with. And if they agree on that, they move forward in agreement, right? Now, if you gonna sit up there and you gonna I'm telling you, this is how, and I remember talking to a couple friend of ours about this who are Muslim, and I remember saying, well, what if this person wanted another wife? Oh no, oh no. Mind you, they've been together for a long time. So it's like, what if later on down in the future, the Holy Ghost brought somebody for purpose. And because you were so strong off of, oh no, you missed the blessing and you might end up getting a divorce because you blocking the blessing and you blocking the Most High's will, right? And so then you out the picture and you find yourself messed up over something after the fact that you look at and say, I was tripping because that really wasn't even a big deal, right? After the fact. So then we go back and you telling, and while you professing that thing and the Most High is trying to move, he done moved you out the way, brought somebody else, that same person you was having an issue with, and allowed that to flourish into what his will was in the first place. So you don't want to get yourself caught up, ladies out there who right now are single, right? You may come into the remnant one day, we will all be together. And right now, I know it's a bunch of ladies right now in the remnant that are saying, nope. I'm good. My husband, he can't have another wife. I'm good. Well, I'm telling you right now, you could be blocking the greatest blessing you ever known, because the only blessing that you know is the indoctrinated blessing, the one that you were taught you should have. And let's go back to the White House with the white picket fence with the little poodle with your husband and your two kids, and he working and he taking care of everything. Well, that's the indoctrination, right? Because one, put 1,000 to flight. Two, put 10,000. Three, hey, it goes on, right? But if you're not looking at it as a blessing, you're going to miss the Most High because you want to put him in your little itty bitty box and tell him that over here, my will is yours. But over there, you can't have that. It don't work like that. Obedience and submission is total. There's nothing depleted. There's nothing taken from it. It is one. You cannot parcel the Most High out part of your life and give him one thing and not give him the other thing. You have to relinquish everything over here if you want to see the blessing of the Most High God, right? Because if you start off telling the Most High what you will and will not do, and what you ain't gonna go through and all this kind of stuff, then if you are still in the remnant, your salting process is gonna be so hard. It's gonna be so freaking difficult, right? I learned early off with my husband dealing with women in his life that I am not going to sit up here and tell this man what I'm not going to accept because I didn't want nothing brought in my face. But later on, I was thinking maybe he should have. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he should have. Because a lot of things, as you're going through that process and getting that indoctrination up out of you and changing that mindset, those things that happen in the salting process is to keep you operating in perfection when he brings you to your future and the thing that he allowed you to go through that for in the first place. We are more than conquerors. He didn't say, I'm going to allow you to go through this and I'm going to let you partially be a conqueror. No. You representing the Most High, not yourself, and yourself too. But first and foremost, you are representing the Most High God. You think he going to send you out there halfway? No, it don't work like that over here. When he prepares you for something, he prepares you all the way around. So the thing he has for you to do as his servant, you going to do it with perfection, right? And so if you're going through your salting process and you're looking at yourself as a victim, you will never, ever, ever be a victor. And you will never, ever see what the Most High has for you, the blessing, that thing beyond understanding, the thing that if you say, I want this, just like he said, if you would have asked for thus and thus, I would have gave you more, right? That thing that you can never understand what a real blessing looks like. Something that, like my husband used to say, you're going to have to blow my mind, Lord. Because you done brought me this far. I done went through all this stuff. You're going to have to blow my mind. Like when Naya came and she already had the information, blew his mind because he never had been with a woman who came with the information. That he didn't have to teach who he was and teach everything about the beginning stages of this remnant and this information. That's powerful. And I best believe all of you women out there would love to have a man who already has this information. And I know now these remnant men would love to have a woman who already has this information, that they don't have to sit and baby about every single step of the way of how this relief doctrine works. I can understand that. You know, I can understand that. And so, you know, y'all, when you're going through your salting, right, like the Most High gave me, don't look at and point at everything he's allowing to salt you up out of something as the enemy. The Most High is allowing those situations for you to conquer it, not for you to keep going through it, not for you to keep playing the blame game. Well, he did this. Well, he said this to me like that, and he did that. And you know, when he came in, he talked to me like this, and everything is getting you in your feelings. You will never, ever be a conqueror staying in your feelings 24/7. Ladies, this relief doctrine will teach you how to stay up out of your feelings and conquer, and how to keep moving and pressing forward and past, so you can get to the place where you can really see that you're immovable, that those things really didn't bother you in the first place, but the enemy, the God of this world, with the spell of witchcraft, has taught you that those things hurt you so bad that some of you women would rather not even be here no more. You want to kill yourself. You don't want to be here, all because a man or somebody is not doing what you think they should be doing for you, right? But this relief doctrine, for those of you who said, you know, insecurities and all this, the relief doctrine is going to teach you how to operate. It's going to teach you how to love yourself. If you don't have a remnant man, best believe the Most High will teach you how to love yourself with that word. And if you stand on every word, you're going to stand on business. When a man come present itself to you, you're going to know what the package is supposed to be looking like. Or when a woman presents herself to you, you're going to know what that package is supposed to be looking like, right? So those of you who saying, you know, I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that. Remember I said about my family one time when they came to me and said, yeah, I couldn't do that. And I said, yeah, I know you couldn't. Because I knew who I was, and I know who I am, and I know why I'm operating the way I am unto my God. I know what pleases him. That's what means the most to me. I was having a conversation even with one of our roommate ladies, and I was like, the most important thing is the Most High's will, nothing else. And when you operate in submission and obedience under that, you learn that everything you doing is unto the Most High, not for some man or some woman. We done said this plenty of times in class, and remnant members already know this. But for you and those of you who are chiming in, who are just getting this information, believe you me, this relief doctrine works, right? And we are pure examples of how this relief doctrine works. It works. You do not have to sit up there with no patience. You know, that's really laughable when you really think about it, because you can choose to have patience if you want to. But the indoctrination has taught you that everything bothers you, especially Black women. Nowadays, it's just everybody. You know, I know, because I was that person. Everything bothered me. Everything got on my nerves. Everything, every way somebody looked at me just penetrated me. I was so easily penetratable, right? Easily penetratable. The enemy had no problem with me. He said, I got this one. I got her on lock, and I'm good with her. I don't even have to work with her no more. I got her where I want her to be. And that's how he is with some of you guys. I got you right where I want you. You will never change. Everything that I have imputed into you are operating in perfection. And the Most High is saying you don't have to do that. With this relief doctrine, you can have patience. You don't have to be insecure. You can reestablish virtue. I don't care where you thought you were at in your life or what's happened to you, how many men and bodies you had, how you would say out there, and all that stuff. Oh yeah, the Most High will replenish you. And everybody out there who's telling you your virtue was gone, this was taken from you, that was taken from you. Oh, you done had sex with all these men and you done did all this stuff and you feel bad about yourself. You have all these kids. I guarantee you, the Most High is the only one who can redeem you from all that and let you know that you're not lost and you're not gone, and your virtue and everything else can be reestablished, right? All praises. And to end it, to let you know that you do not have to be a victim. You can be a victor and a conqueror, right? Operating and standing in the Most High's will and not allowing anything, anybody, any place, anything get in your way. All praises, Most High. All praises, Remnant. Who next?
I'll go next.
You on it? Come on, Naya.
Good evening, family. First, I just want to, thank the Holy Ghost for opening this space for us women to speak tonight, because I know when I was in the world and in the indoctrination, I would have loved to see a demonstration like this, something that I would want for myself, information that I would want to learn, because I will always have this thing of, I will always look for that, So it just makes me think and how grateful and blessed I am to be here tonight and where I am today overall, just thinking of where I was and, what the Most High delivered me from, for me to be on the other side of the screen to, to and bring that encouragement, just to be that woman that I always desired to be, but me being more beyond blessed, not even, it goes back to, not before I didn't have an understanding of God, period. I will always isolate myself to just me. I will always look at me. Any situation that I was in, it was like I always had a problem with reaching out, because I will always just look at, oh, this is my issue, my problem. I have to figure this out myself. And how can you do that when you don't have the information to do so? You will stay stuck in that same box that you are in, So just, it made me think about when Deb was just speaking and, abandoning everything onto the Most High. We had a class on it before, and that really opened my eye to things that I would hold on myself. Here I am, and even in the information that I was holding on to at the time that I didn't know, that I would still hold on to, because I'm thinking, because I have the information, I would still isolate myself in a way and try to keep certain feelings, thoughts, or whatever to myself and not give them to my God, and that would keep me stagnant in certain areas of my life because I wouldn't give everything to him. And that goes along with your submission and obedience, giving everything to the Most High, because there's nothing important enough or big enough to keep to yourself, and half the time it really be small things, it really do be small things. And, one thing the Holy Ghost been getting on me about lately is assumptions, and that is a very sloppy way to operate in, and it will be, it's like a situation, I think that was last Friday, where, well, even before, it would being in a space where you would not constantly assume, but it would just be on your mind, right? It's just like, even if it's something small as, oh, if a person says something, well, I thought you meant it this way, or not just having that clarity or bringing the clarity, So it was a situation last Friday, where it was really a check-in for me, where I assumed that my husband, I assumed I was having an issue, and I assumed that he was too busy to come see about me in that problem, and that left me, for one, it left me open, and then it was like I didn't, it was like me not protecting my virtue at that time, because I'm just thinking, it was like, we have our family group chat, and I just reached out to the family group chat, like, okay, let me just, it was like, what's the quickest way I can solve this problem, right? But it's not it's like having that patience as well, and having the patience to go about a situation the right way instead of having to rush, and then it make me look sloppy in that moment, without me realizing. But it had to take me to, you know, go through that situation and have a talk with my husband, like, okay, no, that was, and even, the checking from, me talking to my God about it, just the shame I felt, for me to, you know, uh, yeah, like, realize that, but, I'm sorry, I'm hot. Yeah, but, and then even that would lead for him to tell me, you need to be more intentional. There's no way that, with this information that we have the relief doctrine, we have that clarity, so it's being patient with, even with yourself, your and just with your, while you're thinking, and just making sure that me first having the clarity to speak the clarity, and it's like, yeah, that was one of the biggest things, that I had to realize lately, is that assumptions, and it's something that we all do in the world, especially women, and um, we don't think that it's as big of a problem as it is, right? It just goes back to those feelings. You feel a certain type of way, and then you just continue on with all these thoughts, and, oh, I assumed, are you thinking what I would be thinking at a time, like, I'm thinking I'm doing somebody a favor, assuming, and it's like, no, it's like you still have to look at yourself and operate a certain kind of way, So, and just bringing that clarity, and, and just even that, having that relationship with your God, and, even continue with that continuous clarity from the Holy Ghost, and that's something that I've been so grateful for, being in the information, because I did not have that in the world. It was like, before the information, I will always have these thoughts of, like, okay, a situation would happen, and I will always think I'm, like, let me check myself or something, but you can't do that again, like without the information, without even having the clarity on what that even is, and it took for me to um get in this information, understand my culture, my God, and build that relationship with my God for me to even be where I am today. Because even my salting was just like, one thing that really had to be salted out of me was my thought process of perfection. And it was that indoctrinated version of perfection. It was more so like the physical, but not understand the inside of you, that perfection that is acceptable to the Most High, and that's something that a process that I've had to go through, that I just had to go through overall being here. And, seeing myself today, it's like, I was having a conversation with my husband the other day, and it was about me, the woman that I am now, where I am today. And um, just it's like being in your culture, and when you really walk with the Most High, it's like when He show you yourself, it's like when I look at myself today, it's like me looking at the manifestation of, how can I word this? Like, the manifestation of who I've always been. But it really took for me to for me to get back to my culture to really understand who I am, and that is something that the Most High will do with you, is show you yourself. So when you're in a space to where you're constantly just looking at yourself, and you're thinking, when the enemy have you in a certain space and you're thinking that certain traits that you have is just who you are, and it's really not, it's like,
right. That's
when
good.
I would, yeah.
That's good. That is very true. It's true. That's true. You think it's you.
Yeah, so when I would isolate myself, oh, this is just who I am. When I would be sensitive, oh, this is just who I am. Well, I'm quiet, oh, this is just who I am. It's, although it is, but it'd just be those thoughts that would have you in those small spaces. Insecurity. I used to always be insecure. Oh, this is just who I am. It'd be those very thoughts that would keep you in a small space, and you would just accept that, right? And when I was just in a place where I would just be accepting anything and just operate in any kind of way, because I would accept situations that I felt like, well, I'm just at this level, so I'm gonna just stay here, just stay at that comfort, not wanting to challenge myself, not trusting myself enough to step out and embrace those challenges, but it's the complete opposite here in the remnant, where every day you have to, it's not, yeah, it's like a constant war, and it's a challenge to not go back into those old spaces or who you were yesterday.
Yes,
right?
indeed.
So it's like every day, it's like what we say, you can be your greatest tomorrow you will ever be for an eternity. Not going back to those comfort spaces, so always. And it also, it puts you in a place of being consistent with the information. You're looking at your God. How's my God looking at me? So you're not, but I don't, like today, I don't just look at myself anymore like I used to. I'm looking at my God, because it's me and my God first, and everything else will fall in line, so I'm not just in a space where, and that really relieves me, not just keeping myself in a small box, just thinking it's just me. The comfort of having my God there, the comfort of knowing that he will always bring the clarity, but just having that clarity, having the understanding given from him, just to know, to take that in and to, okay, I can, break this down, and for him to even trust you to give you something, to just continue to move on with, and just being a leader, period. It'd be here, it's like in a world you would think that you would be so caught up in thinking that, yeah, you're just that one individual, but it's like here is like you're already given a position, right? And it's that leadership, and that accountability that comes behind that comes with that. Even when I made that mistake, the accountability that I had to correct myself to my God, my husband, and before the remnant, and that's what we do, and that's what's important. Taking that correction and also being the corrector. And that's another thing that I had to understand, because I will always take correction and just be quiet after that, but having that understanding, even the Holy Ghost had to tell me, even when you're taking correction, you also have to be the corrector in that situation, to at least know that, to show that you know and understand, so you won't continue. Yeah, so you won't continue to keep operating a certain kind of way, and the accountability that comes with you knowing, right? Because it's given for us to know. So, yeah, so I'm just, overall, I'm just, yeah, I just thought of, today just made me think of, yeah, just how grateful I am to not, like, I want to cry. Hold on.
Don't cry. Oh. Don't cry, love. That's what happened when you're grateful.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what happened when you're grateful.
You're going.
Sorry. Those are happy tears, joyful tears.
Yeah, it really is, because it made me think, even, just when I woke up this morning, just how grateful I am to be, just to be where I am, and just to be the woman that I am, to be given. It's like the Most High has given, it's like he would give you, because he knew I always desired to know what it, to want to know what being a woman is, and when I just think of where I am today, and for me to be here in my culture, and that was like the very thing that, me building my relationship with my God was him um, giving me my virtue, that woman, that's what virtue is, and it's like what Dev was saying, that redemption of not looking at your past and just being, and that just, and you're just being defined by that, like it's just who you are, but that redemption given from the Most High, to for him to show you who you are, for him to show you yourself, the empowerment in that, and I was just grateful to, just outside of the screen, but for me to actually be here and to speak the words of life, when I know what it felt like to be in a space of, when I knew what death felt like, just being isolated, as if I was just in that cask, like, oh, it's just me, just feeling like I was just, yeah, it was just, it was just death, you know. I was just always dull. It was just, there was just no life in me, you know. But for me to, for the Most High to place me here, you know, as a leader, and to just be,
Hear that smile go.
yeah, just
Mhm.
just to be here, you know, it's just, it's a beautiful thing, you know. And I can never see myself going back to those small places, you know. I can never see myself being isolated to just that small space of the small thinking, you know. It's like what we say, we never put our God in a box, you know. I want to be everywhere my God is, and you know, he's never in those small places, you know. He's bigger than just,
Yellow avian.
yeah, that, and just everything, you know. It's just, yeah. So overall, I'm just grateful, and I'm very blessed to just be here. Yeah. To know what life is, you know, and again to speak that to those who
That's what
who
you
need
said.
that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who's next? You want to go? Anybody want to go?
Good evening, family. Can y'all hear me? Okay, good evening, everybody. So when we first like announced what we were going to talk about, as far as like in the women's chat, because we don't really be in there. Like we do every now and then, but when we was in last time, I think we spoke was like back in August, but we were like trying to decide like what we were going to talk about. And I was just like, you know, I'm gonna just let the Holy Ghost. I'm gonna show up, and you know, whatever's on my spirit, that's what I'm gonna speak on. I'm not gonna go there. And so the way that the conversation is going, I gotta say, like, this is my first time being emotional before I even spoke, because I can feel the heaviness. Like I just feel like I'm being weighted down, you know, and like Naya tearing up light in my spirit because I was like, okay, I don't want to introduce. Like, luckily she started the tears, but you know, and I was sitting here as like with the women hosting the class, you know, the biggest thing that women are insecure about, or the biggest thing that we feel like we have to fight against when we're indoctrinated is time. You know, because you want to, when you're older, you want to look younger. You want to have children by a certain age. You want, like, you have all these pressures to look how you're supposed to look based off the indoctrination. And, you know, a lot of times we carry hurt as well based off time. And I was just thinking about, you know, my mom sitting here, and it really, it you know, it really had me break down because like, especially growing up, I didn't have my mom with me in those moments that mattered the most, you know, because we had our own family things going on, and so we were separated. And um within that, like, those, when I became a preteen and a teenager, like those moments where I needed a mother figure, she wasn't there. And so you know, it's because of what we were going through. A lot of the times, like me, like those gems of how to be a woman or what a woman should look like came from my dad, as far as, you know, posture and how you should carry yourself. And I never really had that figure around me, almost like a dove. Like I didn't have like that consistent, like, okay, this is how you should be, but not putting dove above my mother, but showing you how to operate as a woman without the indoctrination. You know, you have a lot of female figures out there, but they're indoctrinated. So they're going to show you as much as they know, which is going to develop insecurities. You're going to feel like you need, you know, they carry a lot of rage and attitude and hate and stuff like that. And I didn't have that. And I remember just growing up, different situations I was put in, like even in my childhood, how I was always able to break it down and see something higher in that situation instead of just being upset. And I never, you know, and at one point, me and my mother didn't talk for years because you know, it was more so I was upset. And when I came around to it, I understood that she was a woman who was learning as she went as well. And it freed me from any type of um, you know, just the lost time that I feel like I may have gotten out of, the lessons I probably didn't learn from her, the, the stuff that I was being put through or the things that I seen as a kid, it didn't matter. And with that understanding of operating that way and with the relief doctrine, it makes me appreciative because it's like now that we're all back together, we can have those moments that I may have felt like I lost or didn't matter because I'm grown now, and a lot of people are hurt because like your parent didn't teach you how to ride a bike and you're like, I know how now, no point, it's stuff like that where you shut the door on them. And it's like we have those moments and the joy in talking about bonding over makeup and getting dressed together. And it's like I didn't have to, the way that the Most High worked, I didn't have to experience that in my childhood, but we were both on our own journeys during that time that brought us back together to where time doesn't matter. Like I don't feel like I'm where were you when I was a kid? And, some of my siblings do carry that on them. And it's a lot of weight to have, especially, there's a lot of women out there who have fractured relationships with their parents or their sisters. And you don't know how to recover from those relationships. And so now it's just all these broken women in the family. And it's, it's just hardship there. It's a lack of time there and, things like that. And it just made me grateful to even have her right here because knowing where we came from and knowing that doesn't exist, it's like the time gap that we did have doesn't even matter because it's sealed it back. You don't think about stuff like that, and you become grateful for those experiences because had I not had that, we had that time apart. It lets for it the receipt matters for times like this when we are on these type of platforms and we're talking to people who have real life issues going on. And you can see how we're just as close. Like, me and my mom are best friends. I still haven't gotten used to her living in Seattle because when I'm bored, I literally want to call her and I'm like, I almost called her twice yesterday and I'm like, yeah, and she was at home and I'm like, just like, why? And I didn't realize how much like I really talked to her because I had to tell myself like call somebody but yeah, and it's like how like that restart to like your virtue and time. It's like everything resets to where the beauty in it. It's like even I was telling Naya earlier, I had signed up for some type of program or something, and some guy was flirting with me, but it's like I've been so into my own world I didn't even recognize it. But his way of trying to flirt was like, oh, your date of birth something. I was just like, what? And he was like insinuating that I looked younger than what my date of birth was, and I'm only 28. But I didn't get it because I was just like, everybody around me looks good and young. Like, I didn't turn 28 where I'm afraid of my age, or like I still feel youthful where I'm just like, okay, what is the purpose of this? And it's like when people try to force that on you or try to flirt with you, like, oh, you don't like I just looked at it like you're trying to use time as leverage to make me feel good, but we don't go based off time here. So it's like, you start to you see the separation from like the outside world of what they think. So to somebody who's 28, they could be flattered by that, and I'm just like, I don't understand. Like, I genuinely don't get the joke, but it's like that's how long we've been operating in this to where a lot of stuff. Like I remember when Dre was talking about some stuff might be funny to this person, but you don't find it as humorous. And it's like, it wasn't funny. It's just like, it just went over my head. Like, okay, I don't, at once upon a time, it may have worked of me being scared to be close to 30, but I don't have those fears anymore. I don't feel like I need to look a certain way or keep up with a certain image because I'm comfortable with myself. I know what the Most High expects out of me. So that the insecurities and, the insecurities aren't there, even with the virtue, even as far as like resetting your virtue. Like Dove was saying, a lot of times out there they'll make you feel like you're less than because you were operating outside of that. And I know, I've spoken my experience when I went through my assault, how I was just, some people either become reclusive sexually or they go the opposite way. Unfortunately, I went the opposite way, and it's I don't have shame in that because I understood that that's where the enemy had me. Like I was operating in that form to where I don't feel less than. I don't feel like I didn't get a chance to have a reset because I knew where I was during that time. And when you get that receipt, nobody can tell you anything or degrade you or make you feel bad, because there's women out there going through the same thing and you don't know how to get out of it. So you're, you know, you running around, and you know, you're running around, and I always thought it was funny how I would go through a situation that just seemed drastic and I was in and out of it. Like, and it was just like I was getting put in to see how I was operating, and then brought out of it, and I was like, okay, now I understand. So even, you know, I've talked about when I was in an abusive relationship, when I was going through it, it was never like oh my God, why me? When I got out, I felt relieved, and I was like, oh, I get it now. And it was like my brain immediately went to, now I understand how you go through that, like how you can get caught into that cycle. And I was blessed enough to recognize it and get out of it. But that receipt is important, you know. And when you say, why me, you discredit the testimony, you discredit, and it's not a you know, it's not a petty, like, oh, I'm glad I went through this. It's like you really go deep down and you pull yourself out of it, to where it's like, if you're stuck, and a lot of our people are lost, you have substance to go down there. You know, you can reach down there and grab those people. So it's, you know, and it's like the reinvention in that. And I always pictured myself, and believe it or not, like I had just started becoming social as far as like speaking my mind, because I was a very shy person, and I always felt like I was going to be speaking or doing something, and I didn't know what. And I remember, like, when I was in high school, and my cousin was talking about college, I had no interest. I never even considered what school. I never could picture myself in the dorms. Like, it literally, I don't know, I just never cared. But I knew it was meant for me to be talking or doing something. And both my parents are talkers, so somebody had to be a talker. So, you know, I developed it, but within that, it was just a blessing of having that substance to talk about, and not just being that person that has a lot to say, but no experience behind it. And, you know, especially being in the remnant, a lot of times it's like, I feel joy of have gone through so much, and women come in thinking that it's just them. And when Dre had mentioned one day, like, you know, y'all think the problems are so big and we went through everything, and I was talking about Detroit, like, oh, I left some of my stuff behind this at the house, I couldn't bring it. And then they dropped the story about how Dove Holt, the whole Utah truck was taken with everything in it. And I was like, okay, thank you. So, you know, like, okay, never mind. You know, but it's the beauty in that, of like, not saying that your whatever you think isn't important, but bring it here so we can let you know how to sort through it, and how small it is.
All right.
You know. So, you know, it's yeah, it's just a blessing to be here, you know. And the one last thing is, or not last thing, but what I was gonna say to top it off is like the whole purity, and like the separation from you. When you see yourself doing better, you see yourself separating from the indoctrination. And the blessing is when you hear from other people, you know. And I remember, like, I used to cuss all the time, like all the time. And I remember I had this guy I used to date, and his mom never cussed, and she was a Christian, and he would just be like, well, you always cussing. And I was just like, well, this is how I talk, or whatever the case. And so you know, when everything went down last week with, not last week, whatever it was, you know, the whole situation with Naya, my family was outraged. And one of my cousins called me to tell me what was being said about our family by somebody who had just gotten the news, or whatever the case. And so I had reached out to the girl and was like, you know, do you have any problems? You know, what's going on? Did I do anything? Like, why are you saying stuff that's being said? And so, you know, I left it at that. She explained herself, whatever the case. And so then I got a phone call again after the fact, like, oh, it was relayed back to my auntie or cousin that I was checking them. I used cuss words. And it's like, just something as small as that is like, I don't cuss anymore. Like, I know that, you know, I know my words are being twisted around. So it felt good to have that separation of, you know, just knowing that, like, you know, I'm making those improvements to better myself, where I can separate myself from something so small as a cuss word. Like, okay, y'all lying. You know, it's a cesspool of lies going on over there. I didn't cut that out. And I wasn't on social media like, oh, the remnant don't cuss no more. You don't know that, but it's the observation that was made for me to be like, okay, you know, whatever. Like you running with a story, you want to hear what I gotta say. Whoever lied and said that, you know, at once upon a time, it was easy to throw stuff like that on me, but it's hard to when you are moving to the image of God. It's hard for those things to stick. Expect if you're operating in the right way, you know, and even at work, Tanya's daughter, me and her were talking, and I forgot what the conversation was, and she made an observation. Like, I noticed that you don't cuss, and she's around me every single day. You know, we're close, we talk all the time, we hang out after work, and she said it, and it was just like, yeah, like, you know, it was confirmation of knowing that it's not just around the remnant where it's me working on myself, you know. And as a woman, it's like I don't have the desire to want to be seen in that light of anymore of cussing or feel like I have to get it off. And even I was telling my dad, like, even at one point when I did do it after we weren't supposed to, it felt forced. Like, do I really want to cuss that bad where I have to compromise, or I have to say it, or I have to think twice, and then still, for you know, the desire isn't there, but it cleans up your image. Why would you not want to be a woman who isn't talking and just saying anything? And it forces you to think before you speak, you know. And I'm more conscious of it. I don't let stuff just fly out, because now I have to force that to fly out. Just like when you go against what you know is good for you, it's a force. It's not you don't have the excuse of not knowing any better, and you have to go against it, and you feel that pull. And it's like, I don't have to do that anymore. You know, I don't have to fake it. I don't like doing push-ups, so guess what? I'm about to make that change. I'm about to make that change, you know. So, you know, yeah, I'm just happy. I'm honored that the Most High had, you know, put us in this position to have these conversations and to reach out, because it was necessary, and I'm excited that we're doing it every month. So we'll be here. Anybody want to speak? Oh, you want to go?
Hello, family.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
You got it.
Let's just talk.
Put it on.
put it on the bottom.
I won't be long. I just wanted to speak to kind of what Tori and Naya and was talking about. I wanted to speak to time. I remember in January, I went to the Miami conference. It was my first introduction to the Remnant. I wasn't even in class yet. I just took the trip with my family, and I was able to meet Dre and Dove and some of the Remnant, and it immediately captivated me. I was wheeled in. I'm like, who are these people? What is this? It's amazing. And I remember I was speaking on, at that time in my life, I was getting older, but I wasn't changing. I felt stuck. And I said that in Miami at the conference. I said, I feel stuck. Something in me wants to flourish, but I don't know what's keeping me there, like keeping me my birthday was coming up as well. And I'm just like, I feel like I'm getting older, but nothing's changing in my life. I just want to be free. I didn't know what it was, but I just felt trapped. I left Miami. I got in class. I talked to the Most High, and I asked him to just like show me a sign, what do I got to do? And then Dre announced the jump to Seattle. I'm like, oh, I'm in a relationship. I can't, I'm trying to convince my man, watch class. He's like, I'm not doing that. And because he already paid for the trip to Miami. He's like, I don't know where this is going to take you. They travel. So he wasn't willing to get into class. So it's like, I'm talking to Manas, like, he's like, yeah, mommy, we're jumping. We're going to go. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, me and Aaron to help with Stout and this and that. And my family made the jump, and Aaron passed away. And I said, what is this? I was blessed because at that time I was in class and I had the information, and it was the relief of the information that got me through that. And I remember talking to Manas one day, and I said, Dad, what is this, Manas? And he goes, Mommy, what if the Most High moved him out of your way? So you can, flourish and be free and, stop feeling stuck in whatever that was I was in. Aaron passes away. Everybody leaves. Manas and Tori left 2 weeks before the funeral. I'm at the funeral and my family's here. My family at home felt the way about it, but I knew I didn't. I knew why they were here. And I knew I was on my way. I just didn't know when. I'm still at home. I'm in class. Naya and Dre gets announced. Family came for me. It was like I went to another funeral. Everybody left. We're blocking you. You guys are in a cult, the typical. And then I get here and it's like on the plane ride, it's like when we speak on time, when I tell you, it feels like it was yesterday all this happened, but it also felt like it's been 2 years. But I just know that that feeling I had in January, I don't have in October. I feel free. I had to give away my chihuahuas, the love of my life. And it's like as soon as I got on the plane, that all went away. The feeling of if I make the jump and my family and this and losing Aaron, it's like it just all went away. My family can tell you I haven't cried since I've been here about the dogs or home or, you know, I'm just being. I'm living for the first time in my life. It's like, yeah. And I just want to say, when they tell you you don't have time and time's not a thing here, that's real. It's about the moment you say, this is what I want, the Most High will immediately start moving. He will take things, if he know that you're serious and you really want it, but you're going to find something to stop you, he will move that. He will take that out of your way and then say, now what? Yeah, he eliminates the excuses. That's what it is. He will take all your excuses out the way and then say, wait, now what? Yeah. You know, and not only will he take those things up, it will happen in a way where you will understand and it won't hurt. You feel it, but it's not, you're not on your knees and woe is me kind of pain. You're just like, dang. Yeah. Yeah, but I just want to say that, you know, like I said, you'll feel it. It just won't take you to your knees. And so I just want to say, like, it's what, January to now, those, like I said, it feels like it's been 2 years, but it feels like it's been 6 months. But I'm okay. I'm free. I'm, you know, leaving my family behind, leaving just everything behind. I'm like, okay. You know, I'm turning back my clock. That's right. You know, all that stress.
First of all, you look good anyway.
Oh, thank you.
Don't look like nobody's mama over there. First of all.
Thank you. Thank you. But yeah, just turning back the clock on my, you know, my heart, my life, my children. You know, being here with Naya, I couldn't imagine Naya having this moment in her life and I'm not here for that. But even if I wasn't in the information and just trying to be there for Naya without understanding what this is, I still wouldn't have been there for Naya. You know, and so I just want to say, like, I love you guys. So happy I'm here. All praise to the Most High for just moving everything out of my way to make it possible. So it wasn't painful. It wasn't hard. You know, just adjusting to, you know, the idea of, you know, letting go of things, you know, it's not always easy, but the purpose was more important, you know. So that's all I wanted to share.
Yeah. You got yours, right?
Yeah, I got one.
Maybe. Let me know.
Hello, everybody. Powerful, powerful
We are
women.
fired.
Shoot. I mean, my goodness. I mean, each and every woman here and women of the remnant and the women to come, because the Most High knows that you'll be here, even if you're not here yet. You know, we got to lay that foundation down and set those examples. for ourselves and for the women to come. And each woman who have spoke so far, different things, the Holy Ghost is just giving it to me, each one, because that's what happens. There's growth in every single conversation, in every conversation with the women, conversation that we listen to, these Wednesday nights, these classes that we're in every single day of the week. Those conversations with our God, sitting in that private time, talking to Him. And for majority of my life growing up, I felt alone. I felt like I didn't have anybody to guide me necessarily. And once you realize that you're never alone, that you always have the Most High with you, I thank the Holy Ghost every single day for being with me, watching and guiding me, and keeping me safe and free from harm, and continuing to watch over me, my family. That's a beautiful thing, to just have purpose in life. And
Speak into that mic, sexy voice. That little soft thing. We like, ooh, she got that hypnotizing voice. You ain't sleeping. Sleeping. Ooh, girl. It's all soft and sexy and stuff.
But when you finally realize that there is purpose in everything that you do, everything that you've been through, everything that you've conquered, everything that you've seen, is for a reason. And that right there is really when I got serious, is realizing that, oh wait, everything that I have experienced and conquered and been through and was all to get right here, to mature my mind and put me into a space mentally, physically, to be able to take in the information and realize that it was all for a reason. And I've been thinking about that a lot lately. When Dev was talking about not saying that you won't do something or that you can't, whether it's in the situation that you were discussing, right? Or for me, it's been several vices that had to be salted out of me, and my hard-headedness continue to fight that virtuous woman that I'm supposed to be. Liquor, drugs, sex, money, all of that. Oh, you like to drink? Okay, well, I'm going to put you in a bar every single night and give you unlimited access to anything you want for free. You need to choose to not do that, to be that person that says, I don't do that. That's not me. And that feels so good. Like what Tori was talking about with the cussing, or drinking or any of that, or, that's not me. I'm a woman of virtue. That's not in my character. For somebody to be able to speak on you and say, oh no, she doesn't do that. I remember this job that I'm at now. My boss, I told her I don't drink, you know, and she's like, oh yeah, I don't drink either, you know, coming from a Christian perspective on her side. And she's like, well, what about like Christmas time if I were to, you know, bring in a bottle, a nice tequila or something, you wouldn't just have one shot? I'm like, absolutely not. What?
On
She was
Hanukkah,
like,
on
what? You know, and just to stand on that, to have a reason, to have a purpose within yourself, that accountability that comes with being a woman, walking with the Most High, being remnant. Gosh, the power behind that as well. When you know what you won't stand for, and what you will stand for, is beautiful. So there's a lot of conversations about relationships and what type of woman and man, what to look for or how to be. And you hear a lot of females talking about, oh, I would die for that man. I've said it myself, you know, but anybody could do that. The question is, will you live for him? Will you live for yourself? Will you promote life in your household, in your relationship, in yourself?
Yes.
Because that right there, anything will grow. And it's up to the woman to create her home and to promote that life, promote that space. And it starts inside, starts in your mind. Being able to conquer the enemy with any type of little emotion or whatever he continues to throw at you. We've had some discussions about hormones and, you know, the Most High made us that way. And there's an order in it. He gave us the ability to create life in our body. So, of course, there's going to be some salting within that. The strength that we hold in ourselves is incredible. You know, the human body can withstand incredible amounts of pain. But the mental part, you know, you see a lot more people going crazy than you do falling out by sheer pain. We have the ability to heal our bodies much easier. But the only way to heal your mind is with the relief doctrine. So,
All praises.
just get in class. Don't be afraid. What have you got to lose?
That's right.
You sit over there, you're gonna die.
You already dead.
You're already dead.
Yeah, you already dead.
And the women that you see before you and many other women were eliminating the excuses.
So come with.
You have watched each of us come up here and discuss, share different parts of our life, what the Most High has allowed us to withstand and conquer and see. And you're also going to see the Most High move for each and every
Ooh,
one of
okay,
us.
come on. Yes, indeed. Come on, Holy Ghost. We ain't playing around here.
Mhm.
We
And
don't
you're already
play.
seeing it. But just imagine
Yes,
that.
yes, yes. All praises.
Uh, that's it. Who's next?
You want to talk about
Good evening, Remnant. Sorry, I'm just a little still choked up from what Cassie was saying because, oh boy, I felt that. Because, oof, I used to make so much excuses on the falling out, and blaming others and not looking at myself. And I struggled with that so much. Not struggled, I was battling with that so much. And the Holy Ghost had gave me something and was like, there's only so much times you could fall, and get back up, but now you're making excuses and now you're doing it purposely. And you're thinking, okay, well, if I fall, I'm gonna get back up and the Most High gonna accept it. So it's all good. So let me just purposely do something without really thinking about it. And I did that so much until I finally was like, no more, because no, I want to live. And the more I keep falling and making these excuses, I'm walking towards my death, and I am not doing that. I want to live.
all praises?
So, and just letting go of certain things and certain situations and finally putting the Most High first so I could put myself first is just different. And I feel like this weight lifted because I was doing it so much. I wasn't putting myself first. I wasn't putting the Most High first. I was putting other people first that didn't even deserve to be put first. At least not put before me. And so now that I'm finally putting the Most High first, I could finally see myself and look at myself and look at the things that I have conquered and I'm conquering still. It's just amazing. Like I feel so good. And I used to make excuses to not be in the classes and just be like, well, I don't have this, I don't have access to it, da, 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 like whatever, right? No, I was like, you know what? I'm going to, okay, I see Alex's account is on this PS5. I'm about to use it. I'm about to be on it. I'm about to be in these classes,
Well,
okay,
if you
one way or
didn't
another.
know, now you know.
Because I had the chance to, and it was right there. And I said, you know what? I'm getting up in these classes, okay?
That's right. That's right.
Thank you
All
for the
praises to the Most
blessing.
High. Yeah.
And so just seeing, when I had seen that, and I was like, you know what? There's no more excuses. There's no more excuses. And so just catching up on classes and seeing what I have been missing. Boy, I was like, girl, you crazy. What? You were putting other people first and not the Most High. And look at this information. Like, pay attention to it and live it. And I'm starting to do that, like really do that. And this relief doctrine is just, oh my God, this, literally my God, right? Ooh, I feel so free. I feel like I'm alive. And I've been talking to the Most High about a lot of things because I've never when I used to talk to him, I used to also like be a victim. So I'd be like, well, I'm talking to you about a certain situation, but then I'm also like, but why me? You know, it's like I can't do that. You know, you got to get out of that victim mindset and be a victor, you know? And so, like, just knowing that, honestly, look, until I am married, I don't belong to nobody but the Most High. Even then, until the Most High bring me that man, I belong to the Most High and I don't belong to nobody. I belong to the Most High, and I feel like a lot of people don't understand that because they try to take me down with them or whatever the case may be. Like, no, I'm not walking with you. I'm walking with the Most High, and that's just how it is. And I'm ready for when the Most High decides to bring life into my life because
You have life.
I have life. Yeah.
First of all,
And
I know.
yeah.
But you gotta have that life from the Most High first.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah.
But just to like know that I'm living and I'm gonna have that. Just how should I put this without saying too much? Because for example, like seeing the leaders, like seeing the situation with Naya and my dad and my mom, it's just so beautiful. And to think that I used to be like, that ain't, I ain't about to do that. I used to be like that, how mama was just saying that I was so indoctrinated that I used to be like, well, I'm not gonna share my man. But most of the time you girls are sharing your man and don't even know it.
Or do know.
And just don't care.
You do care,
But
but you don't do nothing about it.
Yeah. But for it to have a purpose is just different. Like you guys are under God with together. That's a blessing. And it's just like I can't believe I used to be like, no, I would never do that. But the blessing of it, like Mama was saying, like you're missing out on the blessing. It's just amazing to see, and I'm so glad we can see it firsthand with the leaders.
Yeah.
Because it's just, man, to see that love. I got expectations around here. Okay. Yeah, it's just so amazing, and I just love being here with the family, and I love being in the classes. I am eventually gonna get my own account because I'll be commenting on Alex's account. I wonder if people think it's me sometimes. I mean, think it's him.
You
But
put your name on there.
yeah, I do. I double check it because I'm like, I don't want people thinking that Alex is over here talking about, I don't want no mail like that. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'm working on getting my own account because I'm going back on classes from a couple years ago, like, and just seeing what I was missing out on is just crazy. Like, how was I not walking in the truth? It was, man, when I tell you get in those classes, the relief you will feel. This relief doctrine is like heavy, but also it lifts a weight off your back that you had.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel free and I feel like I'm living. And just, I love it. I love it. I do. I do. We conquerors are on here, and I feel like we conquered a lot. I'm so proud of you guys. I'm so proud of you men, too. I'm proud of all of you guys. Love y'all.
Nobody else? You gonna say something, Yenny? Come on, Yenny. You up here, Yenny. Yenny's powerful now. She gonna quit playing. We're gonna share it with the people. Minister to somebody, girl.
Okay. It's just very powerful seeing all these women up here and just how strong and just not letting things get to them, and just every one of us has our own, not, I don't want to say story, but we've gone through our own salting. That's what we say. Because it is assaulting every day. And just because you are a remnant, don't think that there's not going to be some more salting to be done. The test will keep coming. Remember, the enemy wants you. They already got, like Jeff said, I already got her, I already got him. He's coming for us, right? And so just having, and for the ladies out there that are watching, and just having other women that you can talk to, just be open to, and sometimes that's all you need. I was talking to D, and I was telling him about, me growing up. My mom, she wasn't really a good guidance to me, but she also wasn't guided either, right, by her parents. So she only knew what she knew, and so, I mean, even that alone was just like not having your own mother tell you I love you for so long. I remember I had to tell her, Mom, I love you. And this is when I was already an adult. Okay. So, but I never felt any hate towards her or any anger towards her. Never did. Because like Tori was saying, she was going through her own thing. Just because I was a child and I didn't know doesn't mean that she wasn't going through whatever she was going through, And so talking to the ladies on Saturdays, oh my goodness, let me tell you, one day we talked until 5 a.m. between a few of us. Who can do that? Who can do that? Usually when you get around some ladies outside in the world, you're talking about, oh, this man did this and I can't, yeah, girl, yeah, like, come on, man. How puny do you look? You're so puny. You spiritual dwarf.
Period. Yeah.
You know?
A what?
A spiritual dwarf. And so
Might just be a dwarf. Get the spirit out.
whew, it's heavy. And so it's just, ladies, I can't say enough how important it is to find yourself, fall in love with yourself, seek for the Most High, yearn for Him. Because if you think that you are going through something new, or relationship wise, or even just trying to find a man, just work on yourself and promise He will come. Even probably you might be in a relationship right now and you are seeking the Most High wholeheartedly. The Most High will remove that man out of your way and bring you someone that also is seeking for the Most High. A man and a woman after the Most High's heart.
Oh, period.
That's powerful. Those conquerors right there, And so, I mean, that's all I can really say. It's just how I've gone through that. That's why I know with my own experience going through something like that, the Most High removing someone in my life and bringing me someone better, and why would I do something like that, right? Why would I do something like that? I've already started a family over here. Why would I just leave, It's because of that man's faith that overshadowed everything. It's like, wow, he's for the Most High. I'm seeking the Most High. Lead me.
Yes.
Guide me there.
Yes.
I need some guidance.
Yes.
Please
For
take
real.
me there.
For real.
So I mean, it's not something that is a fantasy. It's very much real. So join the classes, get in the classes, And, ask questions.
Mhm.
Don't be afraid. I'm telling you, there's nothing under the moon and sun that right here we haven't gone through, and we could guide you. It's just, it's beautiful. It's warming, and it's all love. You feel the Most High's love, most importantly. Um, I mean, that's all I really want to say. I just really want to speak to the women out there, because this is what this is about. This is why we're getting together every month for the women.
All praises.
Don't be shy. Don't be afraid. Get in class. If you are in Washington, if you're in Seattle, come to the meetings.
Yes.
You are very much welcome. You don't have to come like the Christian church wants you to come. Already good and uptight and all this, nose in the air, like, their ish don't stink. Come on, man. Let us help. Let us also guide you and the salting process and what that looks like, how that looks like. Don't be afraid of it. Don't run away from it. Accountability, everything that the Most High wants from you. So that's all I want to say right now. I don't know if there's any questions out there from any of the ladies in the. Oh, I love you girls too. I love you women too. I love you too,
That's
babe.
right. That's right. Right.
I love you too.
Yeah, I just wanted to say lastly that I'm a piggyback off what Janet said. I know there are men and women out there that are watching, that watch our classes, watch our testimonies, and see just how powerful our Most High God is. But I could tell you one thing. You can never see the power or the salvation of the Most High if you don't move. All it takes is for you to get in class, even if it's just one class. If you start with this free class that we're giving to you, that's fine. But I can guarantee you, if you stick in there, you're going to want to go to every single class we have. And we have class Monday through Friday. Okay? Everything's not free. Sometimes you have to learn to value stuff. If you could learn to value something, you could find the value in yourself, and you could find the value in the Most High God. If you can value everything the enemy has out there for you to get, whether it's a concert, whether it's some shoes, whether it's a outfit, whether it's a Gucci belt, a Louis Vuitton hat, or whatever you want to get, you can find substance and power in something that's going to change your entirety, your life, right? The things that we're talking about here, men and women, are things that changes your life and changes the trajectory of your life. Everybody here has a past just like you. We teach you that what you're going through is not abnormal. Everything you're going through, I guarantee you, in your vicinity, there's probably 95% of the people are going through the same thing that you're going through. We can help you because we have this relief doctrine. We literally have the information to get you up out of where you're at. We can literally help you from going in that vicious circle that you've been going through for your entire life. I don't care if you 19, 20, 45, 65. It's never too late. And you can come just like Yannis said, pimp, dope dealer, prostitute, anything you could think of that you think you're not worthy of being here. The Most High is saying, just come. Let me show you how worthy you are. Even though that life and that indoctrination in them streets and them people have told you that you're not worthy, you're dirty, you're the scum of the earth, we say, come. and let us love on you and let us show you the real true love, the real turnaround, the real life turnaround, life-changing information that the Most High has, that he's done for each and every person in here that you can't even see, and a lot of people that are online right now. So join the class, get in class. Ladies, get this information, change your life. You don't have to stay in the same situation you've been in all your life. All you have to do is make a choice to believe, and the believing starts with just listening to class, right? And let him change your life, right? And like we say, you can have a greater day tomorrow than you can have for an eternity. Just get in class, right? Just get in class and watch the Most High move for you like he have in every testimony that we've spoken today. All praises?
All praises.
All praises. Ready to eat. Din din time. Din din time.